Grace, I need to confess something. That sounds serious. What happened? Embarrassed. I spent 40 minutes last night writing one text message. 40 minutes? 40. What were you writing? Sheepishly. Hey, are you free tomorrow? Laughing softly. Jack! I know, but I wrote it, deleted it, wrote it again. Then I thought maybe hi sounded too casual. Then I thought hello sounded too formal. Then I wondered if the question mark looked too serious. Laughing, teasing. You overthought a 6-word text. I did, and the worst part? I still didn't know if I had written the right version. So what did you send? Quietly, almost embarrassed. Hey, are you free tomorrow? Amused. The first version. Resigned, amused. The first version. Warmly, realizing. Okay, that is our episode. Nervous laugh. I was afraid you'd say that. Warmly, welcoming. Welcome back to the Speak Bench. I'm Grace. Friendly, conversational. And I'm Jack, and today we're talking about something my brain is apparently very good at, overthinking. Calm, thoughtful. More specifically, why we overthink, what it costs us, and how to trust ourselves again. Light, curious, and how to say all of that naturally in English. Curious. Jack, why do you think you spend 40 minutes on that message? Honest. Because I wanted to get it right. Understanding, gentle. Exactly, and that is the trap. Overthinking often starts with a good intention. We want to make a good choice. We want to avoid mistakes. We want people to understand us. Curious. So being careful becomes overthinking? Sometimes. Thinking is useful. Overthinking is when the thinking stops helping and starts looping. Looping. I like that word. Teaching, clear. A loop is a circle. You go around and come back to the same place. That's what overthinking feels like. You ask the same question in 10 different ways, but you never move forward. Realizing. So I wasn't solving the text message, I was looping around it. Warmly. Exactly. Curious. And why does the brain do that? Thoughtful. Because uncertainty is uncomfortable. Your brain wants a guarantee. It wants to know, will this work? Will they like it? Will I regret it? But life rarely gives us guarantees. Realizing, so I keep thinking because I'm trying to create certainty. Gently. Yes, but more thinking does not always create more certainty. Sometimes it creates more questions. Quietly, amused. That sounds familiar. Warmly. It should. We all do it. Thoughtful. There's one sentence that starts a lot of my overthinking. Knowing, gently. What if? Exactly. What if I choose wrong? What if they misunderstand me? What if I fail? What if I regret it? Calm, teaching. What if is not a bad phrase. It's useful when you use it to prepare. Curious. What's the difference? Explanatory. Preparation asks, what if this happens and what can I do? Overthinking asks, what if this happens and what if that happens and what if the other thing happens? Realizing, so one leads to a plan, the other leads to a spiral. Warmly, exactly. Let's practice. What if I make a mistake? Practicing, confident. Okay, preparation. If I make a mistake, I'll correct it. Encouraging. Good. Overthinking. What if I make a mistake, people notice, they judge me, I lose confidence, and everything goes wrong? Laughing softly. That escalates quickly. Lightly, knowing. That's the point. The mind can turn one small possibility into a whole movie. Curious. We talked in episode 2 about comparison stealing our peace. Does overthinking steal something too? Serious, clear. Absolutely. 3 things. Time, confidence, and action. Agreeing. Time makes sense. Thoughtful. Think about the number of tiny decisions you revisit. A message, a purchase, a meeting, a conversation from last week. You go over it again and again. Curious. Go over it means review it in your mind. Teaching, approving. Exactly. You can say, I keep going over that conversation in my head. Curious. And confidence? Gentle, serious. Every time you second-guess yourself, you send a message to your own brain, maybe I can't trust my judgment. Repeating, learning. Second-guess yourself. Clear, teaching. To second-guess yourself means to question a decision after you've already made it. Practicing, like, I chose this. Wait, was that a mistake? Encouraging, perfect. Curious, and the third thing, action? Firm, practical. Yes, a decision that never becomes action is just mental activity. At some point, you need to choose and move. Curious. Okay, give me 2 more phrases. Teaching. Worst case scenario. It means the most negative, realistic possibility you can imagine. Practicing. So if I'm flying tomorrow, worst case scenario might be the flight gets canceled. Right, but notice the word realistic. Overthinking often invents extreme scenarios that are not realistic. Playfully exaggerating, like my 6-word text causing the collapse of my entire social life. Laughing softly. Exactly. Curious. And talk yourself out of something? Clear, teaching. That means you convince yourself not to do something you originally wanted to do. Honest. I've done that too. I wanted to apply for a job, then I thought I wasn't ready, then I thought other people were more qualified, so I talked myself out of applying. Warmly, understanding. That's a perfect example. Sometimes the hardest person to convince is yourself. Curious. So how do I know when useful thinking has become overthinking? Thoughtful. Ask yourself one question. Am I getting new information?
Interesting. If you are learning something new, checking facts, or making a plan, keep thinking. If you are repeating the same thoughts without new information, you're probably looping. So after 10 minutes, if I'm still asking the same question and I have learned nothing new, stop. That's a useful signal. What about decisions? Try an information limit. Decide what you actually need to know. Then stop researching when you have enough information to make a reasonable choice. Enough information, not perfect information. Exactly. Perfect information often does not exist. That's difficult for people who like certainty. I know, I'm one of those people. Okay, give us something practical. 3 steps. I'm listening. Step 1. Name the question, not the fear, the question. Give me an example. Instead of everything is going to go wrong, say, what exactly am I deciding? That makes the problem smaller. Exactly. Step 2, set a thinking limit. Give yourself 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever fits the decision. When the time is up, choose. A deadline for thinking. Yes, otherwise the mind will happily continue forever. And step 3, choose and move. Make the best decision you can with the information you have. Then give your attention to the next action. So, not, was this the perfect choice? No, ask, what can I do with the choice I made? That is very different. It changes your focus from regret to action. Grace, you're giving me advice like an expert. Have you ever made this mistake yourself? Pause. Then honest and vulnerable. More times than I want to admit. Last year, I thought about changing one part of the podcast. I had an idea for a new format. I believed it would help learners. So you changed it? No. Why not? I kept asking questions. What if people hate it? What if the numbers drop? What if the old audience gets confused? What if I waste time? How long? Months. Months? Yes. And then one day, I realized something uncomfortable. I had spent months protecting myself from a result I had never tested. Wow. So I finally tried the new format in one episode. And? Some people liked it, some people didn't, and nothing exploded. The world kept going. That's when I learned something. Sometimes clarity comes after action, not before it. Say that again. Sometimes clarity comes after action, not before it. What about gut feeling? People say, trust your gut. I like that phrase, but I use it carefully. Your gut feeling is your quick internal sense that something feels right or wrong.
So, should we always trust it? Not always. A gut feeling can be useful, but facts matter too. So, feeling plus facts. Exactly. Your gut can tell you to pause, your facts can tell you why. And if there are no serious warning signs, then you may simply need to choose. You don't need to investigate your entire future before making one small decision. Vocabulary practice. You give me the phrase, I use it naturally. Encouraging. Overthink. I tend to overthink simple decisions when I'm tired. Encouraging. Second guess yourself. I made the decision, but then I started second guessing myself. Encouraging. Worst case scenario. I imagined the worst case scenario, but the real outcome was much smaller. Encouraging. Talk yourself out of it. I almost talked myself out of applying for the job. Encouraging. Go over it. I keep going over the conversation in my head. Encouraging. Gut feeling. My gut feeling told me to slow down and ask one more question. Encouraging. Enough information. I may not have perfect information, but I have enough information to choose. Encouraging. Choose and move. Choose and move. That might be my new rule. Encouraging. Jack, do you think you'll still overthink texts? Honest, playful, probably, I'm human. Gentle, reassuring. Me too. The goal isn't to never overthink again. Thoughtful, it's to notice the loop sooner. Exactly. Notice it, name the question, set a limit, choose and move. Playful, and maybe don't spend 40 minutes rewriting, hey, are you free tomorrow? Amused, that would be a good start. Deeply warm, encouraging. To everyone listening, you do not need perfect certainty to take your next step. Sometimes you just need enough information, enough courage, and permission to be human. Warm, signing off. I'm Jack. Warm, signing off. I'm Grace. Light, confident. And today, I'm choosing not to rewrite that text. Softly, encouraging. Progress, not perfection. Confident. Choose and move. Calm, memorable. And remember, you can think carefully without living inside your thoughts. Friendly. See you next time. Warm, gentle. Goodbye. Thoughtful, curious. Jack, let me ask you something. Do you ever overthink something that already happened? Honest? All the time. Actually, I think that might be worse than overthinking the future. Curious. Why? Reflective. Because when the future is uncertain, at least I know I'm trying to predict something. But when something already happened, I know the facts, and somehow I still replay the whole thing. Gently. You replay the conversation? Yes, I think about what I said, what they said, the look on their face, the pause before they answered. Then I start wondering if that pause meant something. Understanding. That is a very common kind of overthinking. We call it replaying a conversation. Curious. And what do you do when you replay it? Thoughtful, careful. I ask myself one question. Is there anything I can do about it now? Realizing, and if the answer is no, calm, then I try to let the conversation stay in the past. Skeptical. That sounds simple. It is simple. It is not always easy. Agreeing. That's an important difference. Very important. Simple does not mean effortless. So if I made a mistake yesterday, I can learn from it without punishing myself for it. Encouraging. Exactly. Reflection asks, what can I learn? Overthinking asks, why did I do that? Why did I do that? Why did I do that? I definitely know that second question. Lightly, most of us do. Curious, is there an English phrase for that? Teaching. Yes, we can say, I keep beating myself up about it. Curious, beating myself up? Clear teaching. It does not mean physically hurting yourself. In everyday English, it means criticizing yourself too much for something you did. Practicing, I keep beating myself up about making that mistake. Approving, perfect, and notice how emotional that phrase sounds. Reflective, so if I want to say I'm being too hard on myself, I can use it. Exactly. Serious,
But sometimes mistakes really are our fault. Balanced, of course. Taking responsibility is healthy. Beating yourself up is different. Responsibility says, I made a mistake and I'll do better. Overthinking says, I made a mistake, therefore I'm terrible. Quietly, that is a huge difference. Gently, it is. Your behavior can be wrong without your entire identity being wrong. So one mistake does not become a definition of who I am. Warmly, exactly. Curious, what about when you're waiting for someone to reply? That's another one for me. Knowing, amused, oh yes, the message has been delivered. Then you check your phone. Playful, 5 minutes later. Teasing, 10 minutes later. Laughing, then you start building a theory. Laughing softly, maybe they're busy. Dramatic, anxious, maybe they're upset. Teasing, maybe they saw the message and didn't know how to answer. More dramatic, maybe they secretly hate me. Laughing, and suddenly a normal delay has become a full emotional investigation. Embarrassed, exactly. Calm, practical. That's where we need to separate facts from stories. Curious, facts from stories? Teaching, the fact is they have not replied yet. That is all you know. Realizing, everything after that is a story my brain is creating. Encouraging, correct. Maybe they're busy, maybe their phone is off, maybe they're thinking, maybe they simply forgot. You do not know yet. Thoughtful, so I shouldn't treat a possibility like a fact. Firm, clear. That's one of the most useful habits for reducing overthinking. Practicing, I don't know yet. Warm, yes, say that more often. Slowly, practicing, I don't know yet. Encouraging, that sentence creates space. Curious, space for what? Calm, space between what happened and what you assumed happened. Quietly, I like that. Warm, good, keep it. Curious, can we talk about perfectionism? Absolutely. Perfectionism and overthinking are close friends. Amused, that sounds dangerous. Lightly, it can be. Perfectionism says, I need to get this exactly right. Overthinking says, let's think about how to get it exactly right for another 3 hours. Laughing softly, that is painfully accurate. Gently,
What if the next action is very small? Even better. Small actions create evidence. Evidence of what? Evidence that you can handle things. That sounds like confidence. It is. Confidence is not always a feeling you wait for. Sometimes confidence is a result of taking action. So I don't need to feel confident before I act. No, sometimes you act first and confidence catches up. That is exactly what I needed to hear. Me too. Grace, what is one thing you still overthink? Messages? Seriously? Seriously. So this whole episode is hypocritical. Not hypocritical, human. Fair. Reflective. Sometimes I write a message, read it, and wonder if the tone is wrong. And what do? I read it again. How many times? Sometimes 5. 5? Fine. 7. Grace! And then I remember what we're talking about today. I ask, is there new information here? And? No, it is the same message. So you send it. I send it. And then I put my phone down. That is step 4. Maybe it should be. Put the phone down. Yes, sometimes the best way to stop a thought is to change what your body is doing. What do you mean? Stand up, walk, wash a cup, make tea, stretch, go outside. Do something physical and simple because the body gives the brain a new signal. Exactly. You are not trying to fight every thought. You are redirecting your attention. Redirecting your attention. It means moving your focus from one thing to another. I need to redirect my attention instead of feeding the same thought. Perfect. What about at night? Nighttime is difficult because everything gets quieter. There are fewer distractions, so thoughts become louder. Agreed. That's when my brain starts opening old files. Old files? Conversations, mistakes, plans, things I should have said. Warmly. A simple habit can help. Keep a small note nearby. If a thought feels important, write it down. Why? Because your brain is afraid it will forget. Writing it down tells your brain it is saved. I can return to it tomorrow. So I don't have to solve it at 2 in the morning. Exactly. Night is often a terrible time to solve life. That should be on a mug. Night is a terrible time to solve life? I'd buy it. Write it down. Sleep. Revisit it when your brain is rested. That sounds like giving yourself permission to pause. Softly. Yes, a pause is not avoidance when you have a plan to return. That's another useful distinction. Exactly. Avoidance says, I never want to deal with this. A healthy pause says, I will deal with it, but not right now. I will deal with it, but not right now. That is a powerful sentence. I think people need permission to not solve everything immediately. They do. Is that what patience is? Warm, reflective. Before we go, remember this. You do not need perfect certainty to take your next step. Quietly thoughtful. You need enough information, enough courage, and a willingness to learn. Warmly. If your mind starts looping tonight, ask yourself one simple question. Curious, softly. What is the next thing I can